Let's create in Blender these viral 3D 80s Synthwave animations like Visualdon. In this beginner-friendly Blender tutorial, I will show you the easiest hacks to create a retro 80s Synthwave environment, how to find free 3D models, and a workflow you can reuse for any loop animation. After that, we will level everything up with clean neon lighting, retrowave materials, and finish it with a dope loop animation. If you want eye-catching Blender animations, this is your upgrade. All you need for the project is linked in the description.
3D objects.
We are starting with the street. Switch to the Z view, add a plane, and use it as the base of the road. Scale it on the Y-axis until you get a long street shape. To create the center stripes, add another plane, move it slightly up on Z so it sits above the road, and rescale it. To duplicate it, add an array modifier, increase the count, and use the relative offset value to control the spacing. Now we create the outer stripes. Add a new plane, scale it to fit the street, and add a mirror modifier. Use the street as the mirror object so both sides stay aligned. Now we build the grid environment. For the grid floor, add a plane and rescale it up in X and Y around the road. Go in the edit mode, subdivide it with number of cuts 10, then repeat it once more with value 1 so the grid gets denser. Go back to the object mode and add a wireframe modifier. Thickness controls the width of the grid lines. Duplicate the plane and remove the modifier from the copy. So you have one visible wireframe and one solid base plane underneath. Now let's create the hills. Add a plane, scale it to fill one side of the scene, and subdivide it again in the edit mode, with the same values as before. The hills should get bigger the farther away they are from the center. So select everything with pressing the A key. Go to the Object Data Properties, create a new vertex group, and assign the geometry. Switch to the weight paint mode, use the gradient tool, set the weight to 0, and paint from the middle outward. This way the displacement affects the outer areas more than the center. In the object mode, add a displace modifier and create a new texture. Under the Texture tab, switch the type to Clouds and assign the vertex group inside the modifier. Adjust strength and mid-level until the hills feel right. Then add a mirror modifier and use the street as mirror object. Add a wireframe modifier with the same thickness as before, then duplicate the hill mesh and remove the wireframe from the copy for a base mesh underneath. Now let's create the sun. Add a circle, increase the vertices so it looks smooth. Rotate it on the x-axis so it faces the camera. Go into the edit mode and press F to fill it. For the synthwave cutouts, add a cube and scale it down into a thin stripe. Add an array modifier so it creates multiple slices across the sun. For uneven sizes, change the scale value in Z. Oops, still too fat? Adjust the general scale to fix it. Rotate the stripe object until the cuts sit the way you want. Then select the sun disk, add a boolean modifier, choose the stripe object as the cutting object. To see the cuts, hide the stripes and apply the modifier. Now for the sky, add a plane and bring it to the right position. Now we bring in some 3D assets. For this part we use the free add-on Blender Kit. It is a built-in online asset library for Blender that provides models, materials, HDRIs and more. Blender Kit is already integrated into Blender. Go under Edit, Preferences, get extensions and search for Blender Kit. And after installation, you find it here on this side. Search for a palm. Make sure Free First is enabled. Scale it down and place it beside the road. Before we duplicating it with the modifier, convert it to a mesh and join it. Then you can use an array modifier. Use count for the number and relative offset on Y for spacing. And here pay attention to the placement because the spacing matters for a symmetrical result. After that, add a mirror modifier and use the street as the mirror object. Now search in Blender Kit for a car. This one looks good. And bring it to the scene. In the next step, we extend the scene. Either add more array modifiers or increase the count on the ones you already have. For the street, I use a count of 16 as a good base. Increase the road until the highway feels long enough, then match the other objects to that distance. In the end, we add the camera. Set the angle however you like. These are my values. Then switch the resolution to a square format and lower the focal length so more of the scene fits into the frame. And that's it for the 3D object part. Do you want this project file? It's available on my Patreon. There you will get access to over 70 Blender project files. Thank you for your support.
Materials.
Now let's move on to the materials. But first we optimize the render settings. Switch the renderer engine to cycles and change device to GPU compute. Lower maximum samples in both viewport and renderer to 50 and turn on denoise. Next, lower the maximum bounces under light paths like this. Enable simplify and motion blur. In the end, go under color management, switch to filmic and choose a stronger contrast setting. And that's it. In the next step, we split the viewport into two panels. On one side, use viewport shading number 4 and on the other side, the shader editor. Now we really start with the materials and we begin with the sky. Select the sky, create a new material, then add a color ramp, mapping and texture coordinate. Use the color ramp to build your gradient and adjust the rotation in the mapping node to control its direction. In the next step, we add the animated stars from the Patreon folder. Drag them into the shader editor, enable cyclic and auto refresh, and set the frame length to 90. To combine that with the sky, we use a mix node and change it to add. Then connect the result to emission and raise the strength for a glowing effect later on. Now the sun. Create a new material, add a color ramp and a layer weight node, and use them to create a soft gradient across the disk. Connect that to emission and increase also the strength. The emission value is responsible for the glowing effect later on. If you want to adjust the effect, you find it here. Now the horizon light. Duplicate the sky plane and move it in front of the sun. Duplicate the sky material and remove the extra nodes until only the basic setup is left. Keep the pink tones, lower the alpha on one side of the color ramp and connect that with alpha so the material becomes transparent. Now the street material. For that we use Blender Kit. Change the material and search for black glossy. Pick a material. This one is great. Tweak the roughness and set the base color to pure black. Apply the same material to the flat ground areas next to the street. For the hills, duplicate that material, add a color ramp and shift the color into a dark purple tone. Now for the glowing grid materials, search in Blender Kit for glowing. This material works great. Once you've got a material, adjust the colors to your palette. And don't forget to raise the emission strength. Apply the material for the road details. Then duplicate that material for the hills grid and just swap the color to pink. For the backlights of the car, add a color node, set it to red, connect it to emission and raise the strength. For the palm leaves, disable the alpha in the material settings, then adjust metallic and roughness, and we are done. Finally, let's add some glow. Render one image pressing F12 and switch to compositing. Then enable compositing, add a bloom effect and adjust the threshold. Duplicate that effect and switch the second one to fog glow. Keep in mind, you only see the effect probably in the final render. And that's it. We are done with the material part.
Animation.
Now let's animate everything. We want a perfect loop, so we only need a short timeline with 90 frames. The sky, the sun, the horizon light, the car and the camera should move together for a perfect loop. Select them all. Camera last. Press Command and P and choose Object Keep Transform. Now they are parent to the camera, which makes the whole setup easier to animate. Set a keyframe on the camera location at the first frame. Then go to the end of the timeline and change the Y location. Compare the first and the last frame until the loop matches. Then insert a second keyframe. To make the movement of the whole animation consistent, press A to select everything, open the graph editor, select all keyframes and go to the interpolation mode and switch to linear. And with that, we are done with the animation.
Adjustments.
Let's make final adjustments for a perfect touch. For the next step, use the free beginner-friendly video editing software CapCut. The movement may still feel a bit slow. Go into speed and increase it until it feels better. Then duplicate the clip a few times to extend the loop. After that, go to adjust and fine-tune exposure, contrast, highlights and brilliance by 5. Then hit apply to all. To add a little extra motion, go into the effects and search for slightly shaky. Ooh. Use the speed value to control how much handheld motion you want. Under effects, you can also try VHS or record effects for a stronger retro look. But honestly, I leave it like that. And with that, we are done with the tutorial. Got any theme suggestions? Drop them in the comments or send me your theme related artwork examples on social media. Thank you for watching, see you next week.